Listen up. This tournament ain't some stroll in the park. To win here, to win this major, it takes something spectacular.
Get down, Ted! Get down!
This title is not for the faint of heart. It's reserved for bowling royalty. Carter, Williams, Duke, Weber, father and son alike.
Who do you think you are? I am!
That's as sweet as company gets.
Yes! He's got it!
There's no greater standard on the lanes.
Oh, yeah! He got it!
No higher honor in the sport. Today, one man will get to experience that once-in-a-lifetime thrill.
Oh, skinny jeans! He's got it!
It's the PBA US Open on Fox.
Straight week where a major is contested on the PBA Tour. And this U.S. Open will go down in front of a sold-out crowd here in the Cornhusker State. And this one shaping up to create some history. An amateur has never won this event. Harry Crowell IV. PC4 could change that. Chris Vai, welcome to your first TV show. Dick Allen, welcome to your first televised major show. Jason Belmonte goes for number 12 in the major department. Your number 1 seed, Anthony Simonsen, can become the youngest to claim 3 majors. The underdog special starts us off. 21-year vet Dick Allen awaits the winner. Belmo and his recent TV woes there in the 2 spot. 23-year-old Anthony Simonsen in the 1-hole. This is the 6th different event this season. We are set to crown our 6th different champion of the 2020 PBA season. Rob Stone, the Hall of Famer, Randy Peterson, back here with you. Last season, Jason Belmonte, who now belongs in the same breath when we talk about the greatest ever to play this sport. He really ran away from the pack on the PBA Tour. He had 10 top 5 finishes, won 4 events, 2 majors, and another Player of the Year honor. Here he is this week, 4th straight televised event, but to the layman, he might be having a bit of an off season.
Well, he's the winningest player in major championship history. And I kind of think about it like the Tiger Woods syndrome, right? We're so used to seeing this guy and seeing him often that when we do, we expect him to win.
100%. We expect him on every show.
Right.
And to win every show.
Right. And when that doesn't happen, immediately there's something wrong. But all I can say is, listen, pump the brakes. Most people don't realize just how difficult it is to win out here, especially in a stepladder format. Keep one thing in mind, Rob, you know this. Our tournament leader, Anthony Simonsen, is 23 years old, and he's already eligible for the Hall of Fame.
But when you revolve in the stratosphere of Jason Belmonte, you are expected to succeed in front of the lights of television. He has not done that lately. 0-7 on TV going back to last season. 0-3 this season. His quote just this week, I am no longer there. It's scary because I'm usually very aware of what I'm doing. When I come off a pair of lanes and I look back and I look around and I go, did we start? It's over. That's a very unusual feeling for me. Belmo standing by right now with our Kimberly Pressler.
Thanks, Rob. So, Jason, you gave an interview last week where you said you struggled mentally staying focused on these shows. What's the progress with that?
It's been really good. I've had an opportunity to do a bit of research and talk to a few different people about what's going on. The thing that I've come to realize is I'm a human being, and you go through runs where everything's great, and sometimes you hit a wall, and the greats of any sport or any business, when they hit that wall, they find a way to bust through it, and today I have an opportunity to bust through the wall. So
let's talk about the US Open, because this title has always eluded you. What is so tough about winning this one?
It's just so bloody hard, Kimberly. It's 56 games on a really demanding oil pattern against the best players in the world, and you know, when you're trying to just survive, you're mentally and physically drained. So, you know, congratulations to the fellas that have made the TV show, because you certainly earn it when you make it.
All right, thank you so much for your time, and we will see you later on in the show.
Kimberly, thank you. So Jason talking about what a challenge the field and the format is. One of the reasons this is a major, the conditions. are at an ultimate high challenge level.
Yeah, 41 feet in length, a very flat pattern. I'll explain to you what that means, but don't get it outside the blue line. They get very slick to the outside part of the lane. But what makes a pattern flat is the lack of oil in the middle part of the lane. And when that happens, the players move left, and they create steep angles through the front part of the lane. Keep in mind, we had 4 different patterns this week. The last 4 rounds were on this pattern.
Correct. And here's the average, Randy, on this 4th pattern, the one that they are using today here in the finals of the U.S. Open. And Anthony Simonsen, your 1 seed, really blew the doors off the field here.
Yeah, he ran him over and led the last 4 rounds.
All right, let's meet our competitors for match number 1.
PBA Finals appearance from the great state of Washington, Perry Crowell the 4th.
PC4, he is the fan favorite here, and there's a reason. He bowled about an hour north of us in Midland University in Fremont, Nebraska. NAIA 2014 Player of the Year, 2014 First Team All-American as well. This crowd will erupt on a strike. They're not going to get it.
Got that one out of the way. Had a baby.
We talked about the underdog special, Randy. Our first match. 2 guys who have never been under the lights of American bowling television.
Yeah, you really have to take a step back and try to imagine what they're feeling on the inside.
We mentioned he's from Hoquiam, Washington. That's his hometown, but right now he lives just outside Detroit, St. Clair Shores in Michigan. Cleans that one up. Nice to get that first frame out of the way.
Yeah, you know, one of the things that he has going for him to his advantage is he's got a lot of experience in this center.
Here's your 4 seed, Chris Vi.
Number 4 seed is looking for his first PBA Tour title from Springfield, Ohio, Chris Vi.
45 minutes west of Columbus towards Dayton, owner of TV Bowling Supply with his good buddy, Michael Tang. That's TV. Pro shop there at Holiday Lanes in Columbus, Ohio. Home of the 2013 U.S. Open. Of course, the tour was in Columbus just last week.
Three two-handers on the telecast today. Beautiful opening shot by Chris Vi.
Not the first time these guys have met on television, but we went back to the vault, Randy. 2014 Intercollegiate Singles Championship semifinals. Crowell was the 12 seed.
These are the same 2 guys?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Vi from Notre Dame, Ohio was your 1 seed, and Crowell with the win, 201-183. But he ended up losing to the eventual champ,
Frankie Lavoie, yeah. Frankie, a 2-time winner of this tournament. It's pretty cool stuff. Where did they dig that out of?
Right? The things you find on the interweb, Randy, be careful. Be very careful. Back-to-back jacks for Vi.
2 different balls, 2 different ways to play this pair. I believe we're on 25 and 6. And the left lane, I've been told by the players and the tour reps, is that left lane hooks very early, and it's very unresponsive down lane, and that's why Chris Vi went with a little bit of loft on that shot.
Spare in the first frame for PC4. Perry Crowell the 4th, the 28-year-old. There's Perry's brother, Colby, who also is a bowler at Midland University, where Perry used to bowl. And we are back. Audio issues sorted out. We will be with you commercial-free through the end of this match.
Again, Crowell in his first televised appearance on the PBA Tour, just an amateur. An amateur has never won this tournament. Crowell opens up the third off a strike.
What a great shot after having to sit for so long. That's pretty impressive stuff there, Rob.
I mean, that's impressive for a guy who's been on the tour for a decade.
Yeah.
Or two, much less an amateur who's the assistant manager at the Detroit Athletic Club. The DAC, they've got it up now, right? They're all watching back there, right?
Yeah, it's a tremendous facility, and I know that
Tom Rayum, who runs it over there?
Tom Rayum, who is the manager there. As we take a look at Chris Vise, Arsenal, phase 2 on the right lane, Idle Pearl on the left. But yeah, Tom is an amazing guy. We've done a lot of stuff there.
Oh, late drop. Well, needless to say, next time you and I are in Detroit, A, you know where we're bowling. B,
yeah,
you know where we're staying. C, you know where we're going for some lemonades as well.
We've done several exhibitions there. I got to stay there one night. My room overlooking the ballpark. It was pretty cool.
Flag takes care of the 2-pin, remains clean here in our opening match at the US Open. Third straight week where a major is contested. This one of 5 majors, and Randy, there's kind of 6 buzzwords that you attach to a major: conditions, format, field, tradition, purse, and prestige. And the US Open maybe has more prestige than any of the events out there.
Yeah, you know, back in the day when it was contested years and years ago, it used to be a 100-game tournament.
Man,
can you imagine that?
That is a grind. In effect.
Yeah, the reason why he's lofting is he's trying to clear the front part of the lane. Check this out. So the ball can't hook when it's in the air, and that left lane, the front part of the lane, tends to be very aggressive.
Craig and Angie, mom and dad, made the drive. Started it late last night from Ohio to see your boy here. So again, back-to-back single pin spare conversions for your 4-seed Chris Vye. He takes a seat.
He tells us it's a big bowling family.
Yes. Yeah, started when he was 18 months. Dad bowled pretty much every night.
And another strike for Crowell.
He's got home lane advantage.
Yeah.
He's bowled here many a time, felt comfortable here. Former Team USA member, and that's what got him into this tournament. And you know, he bowled collegiately about an hour away from here. He's been in this house many a time.
Listen, this kid's got game. You don't get to this point.
100%.
He tied for the 36th and final spot to get into the Cashers round with Walter Ray Williams Jr.
A roll-off, a late night roll-off.
He's got game, he's got moxie, and he's got confidence in this building. That's a pretty good way to start your first ever television finals. Let's take a look at his game from profile. You see that left hand straight down like this, keeping it in front of him and the shoulders open. And there's that beautiful finish. Eyes on target.
Yeah, those eyes on the prize the whole time. So now a little pressure, swings it to the Vye camp. This by far his best ever US Open finish.
Left to 10. That's a good shot. 6 second to the right, goes around the 10. This guy is in the gym a lot.
He says about 6 days a week I'm in there.
Yeah, keeps himself in great shape. Something I know little about.
Rumor has it you were in the gym yesterday.
There is a picture of it somewhere.
That you took.
For all you know, it could have been the ice cream parlor.
Right,
with
right. Photoshop, baby,
right?
Photoshop. What you can do with technology these days. I was actually talking to Chris late last night. He's got an interesting rooming situation this week, right?
Yeah.
He and 9 other guys rented an Airbnb, and you think, well, that's got to be chaos, you know, chaotic meals, this and that. But they spend so much time here in the lanes through the course of the week at Sun Valley Lanes in Lincoln, Nebraska. And every once in a while they'd bump into each other, but it wasn't as hectic and chaotic as one would expect.
Well, he tried to loft that one. His hand stayed in a little too long and caught that one on the upswing.
See that tape on, that's his middle finger, right?
Yeah.
He showed that. He showed it to us yesterday. Yeah, it's borderline mangled.
Yeah, it looks like somebody put it in a meat grinder.
How much could that affect somebody?
Well, it just depends on whether or not he was able to cover it. He's got the finger tape on there. Probably put some new skin on underneath that.
Oh, left to 6.
That'll affect you more. Especially when your opponent's got a 4-bagger on you and up by 36. So that'll
buy in trouble now.
Yeah, that'll do more damage. Chops the 3 straight back, and you know they tell you to try to cover both pins with the bowling ball when shooting a 3-6. A 1/2 inch to the right he makes it, a 1/2 inch to the left he makes it.
He is feeling it. And Kimberly, this is a guy who's been chasing professional bowling for a long, long time.
He absolutely has. So Perry has openly talked about how humbling this week has been bowling alongside people he idolized growing up. But a story he told us last night involved our very own Randy Peterson. In 2003, Perry went to the Earl Anthony Classic to watch Randy bowl and have him sign his Bowl Me Over CD. Fast forward to 2020, and Perry is overjoyed that he's now on a major TV final with Randy calling play-by-play. His dream has come full circle.
You're burying the lead. You needed to really accentuate the CD by Randy Peterson, Bowl Me Over.
Can't we just go to commercial?
No, let's crack open a 6-pack. Crowd's running away from it here in match number 1. Remember I told you the dangers of the things you can find on the interweb? There it is. Bowl Me Over. What was your number 1 hit that came out of this
it really
one?
doesn't matter. What matters
was
is...
it 4-step approach,
yeah,
or maybe Bowling Alley Sally? Could it have been Beer Frame Blues? All
that matters is the millions of dollars that I was paid to do that.
Did you get an advance for it?
No.
Cashier's check?
It was actually a promissory note.
Third party out of state check unsigned? Yeah. Bowl Me Over.
Come on,
Pretty
man.
good raise to the right on that last shot from the previous
Gotta make
one.
better shots than that.
And you hear him saying you have to make better shots. He just missed a good 3 inches to the right. And remember, I talked about that OB strip that's in that zone. And when the ball gets there, there's not enough friction to get it back to the pocket.
There's that finger bandaged up.
You know, back in the day, we never had that finger tape.
What'd you use?
So we had this stuff called new skin. And basically, it was a bottle of like this thick gel stuff that had ether in it, and then these little cotton patches. And then we'd take our fingers and we'd super glue them shut, put this little patch on, and then put that liquid on. And then because we usually had to do this in between shots, we would light it on fire, blow it out, light it on fire, blow it out until it was dry, and then we could throw a shot. Old school, baby.
Sounds extremely old school. And yet it's still, some of it is still used.
Yeah, the cut patch, the new skin, is still used.
So you're lighting yourself on fire. That seems...
You blow it out real quick. Good shot.
It's not like your hands are too creative. Treat it with some respect.
Rob, you did whatever you had to do to stay in the game and to get it done and to strike and win. And if that meant lighting your fingers on fire, you did it.
That's what you did back then, and you liked it. 6 straight strikes for Perry Crowell, the 4th PC4. Going for the 7, slams it, no bounce back effect. So an open frame for Crowell now.
Well, that's just made things a little more interesting, but that keeps him in the 230s. He's right now going at a 236 pace. If he spare strikes out in the 9th and 10th, max score for Chris Fye is 224. So he would need, Chris Fye would need another open from PC4, and then he would have to strike out.
Regroups, bounces back on the strike train.
I mean, he's really making quality shots. The 7-10 came in just a little bit light, but you want to talk about a guy that's kind of acing it. I mean, check out his location there versus the last shot. I mean, he's within an inch and a half, and, man, out of his hand, it's just perfect. Both players using pearlized balls on the left lane and strong big engine balls on the right lane with surface. Remember that left lane, the front part of that lane hooks a lot. And if you're asking why, both lanes are all the same. It has to be topography.
Down 42, closing out the 9th, gets the strike. A much-needed strike in the foundation frame.
Well, that's more like it. With a half inch of the good shot on that lane, and check out 20 miles an hour and almost 500 rev rate. A lot of speed and power coming out of his hand. You got to keep it close. You got to make your opponent think about something, right? And the only way for Chris Fye to do that is by striking out.
Put some doubt in that man's head.
Yeah, I mean, you got to give him something to think about. If he strikes out, he then forces PC4 to mark in the 10th frame.
Must strike here, or match number 1 is over.
No good. Yeah, left out of his hand immediately. Game is over.
So Fye is done. PC4 moves on to match number 2, where he'll take on your 3 seed, Dick Allen, and the veteran hits the lanes next, looking to rise to the pinnacle of his 2-decade-plus career. More on that when we return. 1 in the books. Crowell, a 38-pin victory over your 4 seed Fye. So the number 5 seed, the amateur. The amateur's never won the U.S. Open. Set to take on 21-year vet, number 3 seed Dick Allen. Dick Allen, one of our favorites. This, though, his first ever televised major appearance.
The number 3 seed has 7 PBA Tour titles. From Lexington, South Carolina, Dick Allen.
Dick Allen in his 21st season on tour. He's making his first televised finals in a major. The self-proclaimed typical house bowler is anything but, as he ranks 8th all-time in TV winning percentage.
He's won 65% of the time on television, Randy. 13-7 in his 14 televised finals. Real quick, before he gets going, you and I, we wanted to send a quick shout-out to Granny Mac.
Granny Mac.
In Columbia, South Carolina. His mom, Mary Ann, could not make the trip. We tried. We called her up last night. We said, come on, Granny Mac.
We were looking at flights.
Get on that flight. Get on that Southwest flight. But Granny Mac watching at home, and she sees her baby boy strike in the first.
You know, the other thing that makes this so significant and so important for the artist formerly known as Richie, as we take a look at that light mixer, is a win today for him gives him 8 titles in one major and inches him that much closer to Hall of Fame status.
Had 2 wins last season. This, though, he said, would represent the pinnacle of his career, top everything he's done. Wow, a little right of target.
Well, that's the 2-4-5-8, and we call that the bucket. I think the late, great Billy Hardwick called it the dinner bucket. And it's very easy to chop this, meaning that you can drive the 2 and the 8 straight off of the 5 as you see the ball kind of roll out as it got to the pocket. Get that bowling ball right here to cover all 4, and you'll make the bucket.
Hammers the bucket into the pit. Off the fastball there.
Typically, when the players use a spare ball, the ball speed's going to be faster. Ball's not reading the lane surface. They're not trying to make it curve. And so you're pretty much just talking straight lines. I got a fun fact for you after this shot.
I'm excited. Crowell started match 1 with a spare, replicates it here in match 2. Rut row. Now this one's a little bit more challenging than the bucket, Randy.
Well, we've seen it made a couple of times on television, and what you're trying to do is you're going to try to cut the 2-pin into the 10 and then have it come off of that wall back into the 8.
Missed the 10.
So, Rob, but it's early. But, you know, we don't get to Nebraska a lot. And I don't know if you knew this, but did you know that Kool-Aid was invented here in Nebraska?
Not.
Yeah. And also, Nebraska is the birthplace of the Reuben sandwich.
So I'm thirsty and hungry now.
Mission accomplished.
Richard. Who's that?
All right, so now I'm confused. So he used to go by Richie.
Right.
Now his name is Dick, and now
well, when he's angry with himself,
it's Richard.
It's Richard,
okay.
Of course.
Yeah, it's like my dad when he used to call me Randolph Michael.
Right.
That was, I never wanted to hear that.
When I'm frustrated,
Yeah.
Robert.
Okay.
Richard gets the spare. You see him right there, slowing things down. And he's done that all week.
Yeah.
What did he miss this week? On purpose? Practice session.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was worn out. So much was going on. My game planning has been terrible, so I sat during practice session and watched the field and kind of picked it apart, not in a negative way, but picked it apart of, ooh, look at this. I might be able to add that. Let me think about this. And it worked. Odds are you're not going to see Dick Allen at the practice session this coming week in Indianapolis. Come on, 7, get down! That dirty pin.
You know, the other thing that he did was he watched other players that kind of have a similar style or play the lanes similar to what he likes to do, and that's what he based his game plan off of.
He said he's been able to put pressure most of the week on his opposition, and that's something clearly he wants to do right now, taking on a newbie like PC4.
Would you? And you've seen Dick a lot out here on tour, and would you not say that he's probably the most unassuming of our players?
He's up there. Yeah.
Right?
Nice hands, feet.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, you're probably right. He's probably number 1 in the step ladder for that department, right? I think that's one of the reasons that we like him so much.
He flies under the radar. He's unassuming.
Totally.
He's never out there beating on his chest.
He's great interview. Great to listen to. Come on.
He's a great personality. Good shot.
Real quick, back to Perry Crowell here. Had 8 total strikes, including 6 straight at one point in the opening match. Here we are about to close out the third, yet to get a strike. Spare, open frame, and he needs to take care of this one.
So you hear him say, great shot on this. He liked it. And remember, the last 2 shots, he went light, light. And now he goes high after being pretty much locked in game 1. Tape. So he's going to add some tape to the thumb hole, looks like, and you got to ask, well, you got to let one of the officials know that's what you're going to do so that there's no shot clock violation.
A little surgery going on right now here. Don't forget to join us for our next PBA telecast next Saturday night, Randy, over on FS1, 8:30 Eastern. The Go Bowling PBA Indianapolis Open, live from Royal Pin Woodland in Indianapolis. 2020 season of the PBA Tour continues next Saturday night. The Indianapolis Open, 8:30 Eastern on FS1, also available on the Fox Sports app. There we go.
Back on it.
One of my favorite stops is Indianapolis. Great food, great people there at Woodland.
Did I ever tell you about my T-shirt story outside the Woodland Bowl?
No.
Wonder if that guy's still around.
I remember. Yeah, good shot.
First strike of match 2 for Crowell, the amateur. There's his younger brother, Colby.
They look like they could be twins.
I was going to say,
right?
I bet Perry passed Colby his driver's license once or twice, if you know what I mean.
I did it again.
Didn't like it.
I was afraid to get it to the right on that lane.
Gotta get out of that.
Richard.
Both Richards, both times on the right lane. Let's take a look at his release. That open hand. And then a little bit around the side of this one. May have caused the ball to go left. Anytime you turn early like that, the ball has a tendency to be left of target for a right-hander.
310 gets dropped. Not as easy as it looks.
Well, if you're going to leave a split, that's the one you want to leave, the 310. That's why they call it the baby split. They're the 2 closest together. Remember, a split does not ever involve the head pin. If the head pin's up in their separation, that's a washout.
Lead at 11. We begin the 5th. The winner to take on your 2 seed, Jason Belmonte. Allen already with 1 win over Crowley this week. We're going to make it 2. He gets all 10 to drop.
It's like you look at him and you think, I bet his pillow is cool on both sides. You know? He just kind of steps up, goes through his routine and does his business. And
he does his thing.
Right.
He just does his thing.
I mean, anybody that gets a THB tattooed to his arm, you know, it stands for
typical house bowler.
Yeah, which is just totally mocking his own talent. I mean, I love that.
Back to Crowell.
Wide.
Way wide.
Whoa, fortunate there.
As good as things went in match number 1 for him, he is struggling to find the right path here in match 2.
You saw this as well as myself and our viewing audience, that it was definitely right of target, and I think very fortunate to just leave the 2-pin.
Some would say he's just fortunate to be here. Right, had that Thursday roll-off against Walter Ray Williams Jr. He wasn't expecting it. Had basically taken off a couple hours to hang out with some of his college buddies who came down. And he got summoned, we'll put it that way. He got summoned from a back area of the bowling center, and hey, you got to roll, man. You still may be alive here. And came out there. He had 1 practice shot. Where to go?
In the gutter.
Right in the gutter.
Yeah.
Going against the living legend, Walter Ray Williams Jr.
Right, exactly.
And he eked out a win.
Yeah.
WRWJ was none too pleased, rumor has it.
No, it was an ugly match, very low scoring. It was on the toughest pattern that these players bowled on all week.
And again, just an amateur.
Spitting image of his last shot on that lane, Rob.
Maybe he's found the path. Crowell, Allen, the conclusion next. The winner to take on one of the greatest ever, Jason Belmonte. Rob Stone, Randy Peterson, Kimberly Pressler welcoming you back to Fox's live coverage of the 2020 U.S. Open. First major in the great state of Nebraska since 1960. About halfway through match number 2. Nick Allen on top by 11, and that right hand is banged up. It looks like my kid had arts and crafts and just covered it in Elmer's glue, and then it solidified. I mean, that thumb is banged up. This is the
old school.
The old school look that we're talking about, which is what we expect.
I guarantee you he lit that on fire. At some point when he applied it,
I did not see flames out here on the lane.
He heated it up and then blew it out, and then he said, all right, I'm good to go. Let's do this.
And then he made a little creme brulee.
Wow.
Back-to-back jacks for Tricky Dick.
He needed it. He hasn't hit that lane yet. He was working on a strike, and that was a ball change. I spoke with his tour consultant, Brett Spengler, during the break, and he said that Richie was going to go to a bigger ball on that right lane, something that'll start up a little bit sooner.
So it looks like now both competitors here are going to use the same ball on both lanes.
Not sure about Richie. I can't see it. He is using this same ball on both lanes. You were right, Rob.
I told you. Why do you doubt me?
I was just
Especially
trying
on a major.
I was just trying to get confirmation.
Ooh, come on now.
Richard.
Well, that would have increased the lead to 31. But I'll tell you what, it was a great, really good pitch. But he got a nice break on the right lane.
Right. Brings that ball back so far. Left the 9-pin, converted 97.5% of the time on the tour.
And Richie, or excuse me, Dick is a good spare shooter. And you have to be at this level.
4 spares, 3 strikes for Allen.
And a ball change for PC4. He's going to use the same ball on both lanes. You can actually hear him jamming his thumb in his thumb hole.
Let's see if we can hear it pop out too. Target.
Brother, that wasn't very good.
Well, he got it right, and that ball
Wasn't very good.
That bowling ball is pretty clean in terms of surface. And it's really going to skid a lot longer down the lane than the ball he was using, but I think it was farther right than what he wanted.
So he's got the 2-8-10, the same thing he left in the second frame as well. That one that was on the left lane, this one on the right. And it was an open frame in the second. It's going to be an open frame here as well.
All right, make him work. Make him work.
Yeah, this is a part of the match where, as a player, you say to yourself, right, my chances of winning are not very good right now, but let me give him something to think about. Kind of like in our first match when Chris Pye could have gotten up and struck out and forced Crowell to at least mark, and it didn't happen. You hear that thumb get in there?
Just
right?
Jamming it in there.
I got something for you after this shot.
You're right, you do never know. Compete till the finish.
Absolutely. Now, I get asked a lot. Randy, how tight should my thumb hole be? Should I have a tight thumb hole or a loose thumb hole? And I tell them the same thing. The majority of the players out here, the tighter the better. And what that does is it relaxes the hand and activates the wrist so they can snap it out of their hand faster.
Allen steps up and fires. No time wasting, trying to keep that momentum going for him. Lead at 32. His 4th strike. Only 1 pair of strikes, though, here in this second match from either competitor. It came from Allen.
Yeah, if he carries the 9-pin in the 7th, this match is all but over, and he'd be moving on to take on Belmonte. But Right now, the max score for Dick Allen is 236, and the best Crowell can shoot is 204. Nice break. Just leaving that one. You can see just a little bit inside a target on that shot, and it went through the nose. And again, on a flat pattern, meaning a pattern that doesn't have a lot of oil or hold in the middle part of the lane, you miss inside, there's no way it's going to hold line to the pocket.
Love that Allen walk away on the spare shots.
He's like so quietly intense, you know?
That's a good way to put it. Yeah,
He's like sick intense, but just in such a quiet way. You can't grab a bowling ball when your thumb hole's that tight, just say it, because it'll never leave your hand.
Back-to-back jacks competing till the end. The amateur still alive, trying to turn up the heat on Allen.
Well, if he strikes out, we have the exact same scenario. He strikes out, he forces Dick Allen to mark in the 10th frame.
House mine, baby, house mine. Come on.
So many here in attendance came down to cheer on Perry. Went to college an hour away up in Fremont, Midland University.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, he may be an amateur, but he should be a professional. I know he's got a great gig at the Detroit Athletic Club, but this young man's got a lot of talent. And for all intents and purposes, at what time he was a pro, dropped his card because of work. And
former Team USA member, that's why he made the show.
He's very talented. He's got a super touch, a great release.
His hope here was just to get a check.
Yeah, nice.
Make a little payday.
Yeah, now he's got some FaceTime.
FaceTime, good payday.
Yeah.
He'll be back at the Detroit Athletic Club soon. Giving lessons, working league night.
Dad, wish you were here. Love you guys. Couldn't done without you guys.
Perry, though, does have his brother
guys.
Colby here.
Thank you for all the support.
There's a team.
You guys are seriously the best.
I thoroughly enjoyed talking with
Hey, and you know he's dialed in with bowling because he knows this is his window to get his thanks out, his shout out, because it's just about done for him.
Yep.
Thank you. Love you guys.
Yeah, touch of class.
Good kid.
Thank you.
Someone you like to root for.
Cut it loose, let it go. That was his motto. He walked away a winner here. He's not going to move on, but the crowd is going to send him off on the right note.
You said it right, Rob. Classy.
You kidding me?
As long as he avoids the gutter, Dick Allen is off to the semis.
That was a good shot right there. That's
So
how you
his
want to throw it
first
the rest
ever
of the day.
televised major appearance.
Face
Dick
that
Allen gets
swing.
another win under the lights.
that
Up
thing fall
next,
from the
though,
top.
business
Feel that
picks
thing
up
fall
the
from the
world's
top.
current greatest bowler in your current #2 seed, Jason Belmonte, waiting in the wings, looking for his first win of the 2020 campaign.
Yeah, let's
Quite a review.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'd call that stardom.
All right, the step ladder. Dick Allen moves on to match #2, where he's set to take on your 2 seed, Jason Belmonte.
The #2 seed is the reigning PBA Player of the Year from Orange, New South Wales, Australia, Jason Belmonte.
The winningest player in major championship history. This is his 4th telecast in a row, but still looking to win his first game on TV in 2020. Can Belmo right the ship mentally today and capture the only major that's eluded his illustrious career?
Looking for the Super Slam. More on that in a moment. This is 4th consecutive televised appearance. And as you mentioned, Randy, 0 for 3 on TV this season, 0 for 7 dating back to last year. But we begin with your 3 seed, Dick Allen.
Let's go, baby.
So Allen takes a seat. Belmo steps up. The win would be his 12th major title. So we mentioned this is the 4th straight week we've seen him. His finishes 4th, 4th, and 3rd at last week's Players' Championship. For some, that's an incredible career.
Yep.
For Jason Belmonte, is a rut that he's in.
It was like the pins got slapped so hard on that shot. It was like the 10 pin got hit by a taser. It didn't know which direction to fall. And watch this. Oh my! Did you see the 6 and the 10? Oh my God! It was like a bus came by and ran into both of them.
It's like the 10 hit the mat so hard he almost bounced right back up.
Crazy. All right, so it looks like he's using the same ball on both lanes, except one has surface, the same type of bowling ball, but one has surface and one is shiny. I'll get confirmation on that. Nope, he's using the same ball on both lanes.
Which is something that Allen did in the last game.
Mm-hmm. Remember, the left lane hooks sooner. And there you see it right there.
Left to 4.
So, you know, the battles that he's had in the last couple of weeks, especially last week, was the right lane was very slick down the back part of that lane. The left lane was okay. It was drier, right? And he struggled on the slicker lane. So he gets on the tight lane, throwing the same ball. It comes around the corner on the hooking lane, on the left lane. On the right lane, it goes too far down the lane, breaks late, and he was leaving those ugly splits. And so I thought, well, he's playing the lanes properly in terms of where he's standing and where he's looking, but he needs to use a stronger bowling ball in that right lane, and that never happened. We'll see what he does here, but both players using the same ball on both lanes.
Oh, Richard.
Richard got away with it.
Tape. Richard. Sometimes the elbow knows.
Is that a 4 shot of Richards?
I'm just going to sit out and let Richard take us through.
That's right.
After this promo.
Flow Bowling is your exclusive home for live qualifying and match play coverage of all PBA Tour and PBA 50 Tour events this week. Flow Bowling is going to feature 2 events, Randy, the Go Bowling PBA Indy Open and the Roth-Holman PBA Doubles Championship. Starts on Tuesday. Get your subscription today. Guy, he had something in his eye. Yep. Hope he didn't get some of that new skin in his eye. We're going to have a real problem.
Blew his eyes shut with that. You don't want that anywhere near your eye.
There.
Same thing Belmo did on that lane.
Watch that hand, Richard. Watch that hand. This way.
I love the self-talk, though.
Yeah, you
got to have it, man.
The conversation with himself, far superior to what you and I can provide.
Oh, I know. It's like my self-talk was just like towards the end of my career. Stupid idiot.
What are you doing, Randall?
What are you doing with your life? Yeah, that was my self-talk.
Dave, can I please take a re-rack?
Fourth consecutive major that Jason Belmonte has made the telecast. This is his 52nd major that he's competed in. 27 of them he's finished in the top 5, including all 3 this season.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, he's made the telecast in more than half of the majors he's competed in.
Insane.
Yeah, it's never been done.
Now, the early story tonight, Perry Crowell IV, the amateur, coming in as the 5 seed, won his opening match, just fell to Dick Allen, and Kimberly standing by with him.
Thanks, Rob. So, Perry, not the way you wanted this day to end, but you made a major show. What's the chance you're going to come back and go pro again?
Well, I was on tour in 2016 and couldn't make it. It was very, very difficult. Week in and week out, what these guys go through is very difficult. I love my job, what I do at the Detroit Athletic Club. So you might see me here doing a major stop or two, but other than that, I'll be going full time on tour, unfortunately.
Well, how great was this crowd to you today?
It was awesome. Being around here for 5-6 years, Nebraska really is a good life.
It really is. Thank you so much for your time.
Back to Allen.
Careful.
2-8 covered.
The man who's never won a major, Rob. We've been talking about it. And 21 years on tour. His first major telecast for a player who's won 7 times out here.
Strike, strike. Spare, spare for Allen so far as we begin the 5th. Lead at 8.
And you look at the other 4 players, all high-rev players, and Dick Allen is just kind of a throwback medium power guy.
Brooklyn.
That was flush Brooklyn and left a 9-pin.
Think I can stop doing that today at some point?
Big
Could've
miss
been
left.
10.
4 boards.
Probably should have been.
Big Wes Malott battling that forearm injury, almost got there, and Chris Prather talked about it in the Open, what a last month he's had.
Good to see Rhino Page just missing the top 10. Billy Oden won last week in 12th.
Again, I talked about it in the Open, the talent pool that's out here. EJ Tackett, who looked like he was just going to absolutely run over O'Neal last week and left those back-to-back taps in the 9th and 10th frame that cost him.
I feel like we're missing somebody's headshot there. Tom Doherty. Tom did not make the show,
you did not go there. Hey, I think your phone's blowing up already. Oh, I'm sorry, Tom. Had nothing to do with that. See, and that's that little
10-pin avoided a beheading.
Yeah. And that's that little subtle push down the lane that makes the ball come around late and leaves that vicious 10-pin. I'm surprised that by the speed of that 6-pin going around the 10, that it didn't create its own vortex and pull the 10 right off the deck.
Third spare.
And if you're wondering about power, the highest rev rate on today's telecast is Jason Belmonte. Shot in the second frame was at 543 RPMs.
Belmo's only broken 200 once in his last 4 games on TV.
Once
in his last 4 on TV. I mean, that's un-Belmo-esque. That's the Belmo we know. Strike 3 for your number 2 seed, Anthony Simonsen. Who will he face? You'll find out next. Will it be Richard Allen or the world number 1, Jason Belmonte?
Look at the game Belmonte's bowling right now, partner. Strike, 9 spare, 9 spare, strike, 9 spare, strike. Clean through 6, but he's down by 7.
Lucky got that 7 to drop late.
A little soft entry into the 1-3 on that shot for Tricky Dick Allen. And watch the 6-pin, second to your right. It just kind of does its dead impression as it lays right there in the right gutter.
95% of the time on the tour, the 10-pin is dropped. So Dick heads to the left lane now.
Belmonte, sorry, Alan and Belmonte pretty much mirroring each other at the arrows, but Belmonte's a little bit further left at the laydown, which means where his ball's actually coming into contact with the lane. Very similar, though. Break point's a little deeper for Belmonte. A couple of boards. Ball speed. Belmonte about a mile an hour faster. And another soft tap.
Hasn't struck since the second frame.
Shot. Good move. Run down.
Again, this looks a lot like what happened the shot before on the right lane, where the 6-pin just goes to the sidewall and doesn't have enough energy to come out and nudge the 10 out.
Fifth straight spare converted by Allen.
Dick Allen's tour representative, Brett Spangler, standing right in front of our booth, and he turned around and looked at me, and I said, what's he going to do? Is he going to change balls? He goes, no. His hand's getting around it a little bit. He needs to stay up the back and roll it more. Now, the opportunity is here for Belmonte.
Absolutely. There is some blood in that water right now. What a response. Back-to-back jacks for Belmo. 4 total strikes. He's been clean through 7 as he pursues the super slam, something that only the great Mike Albee has accomplished, winning all 5 majors. The one missing, the U.S. Open.
Yep. 3 tournament of champions, 2 world championships.
Fourth at last year's U.S. Open?
Yeah. 4 Masters, the only player in history to win the Masters 4 times, and then 2 players.
Trying to win his 12th overall major.
Well, it just goes to show you how hard it is to complete the Grand Slam. You have 1 player that has done it. Great Mike Albee, who won, I believe, 8 majors in his career.
Oh, my. Really?
Low.
What pin?
9-pin. Ball went right by it. See if we can't get a replay of that. The bowling ball going right by the 9-pin. Watch this.
Oh.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's what power does for you. But what's interesting is that doesn't happen a lot because the 2-handers with all the power, they figure out a way to get their bowling balls to come off the end of the pattern a little bit smoother.
Poke a little.
No.
You figure the breeze alone would take 1 time on television. You know who did it?
I do.
WJ.
The GOAT.
2005. Allen, open frame.
Now Belmonte can breathe.
Yeah. It's not over, but yes, you can enjoy the inhale and exhale a little bit more.
Max score for Allen, 208. Right now, Belmonte is at 208 if he strikes spares off the sheet, meaning 9th and 10th frame. Belmonte max score 228. Every ball in the pocket for Belmonte except the 3rd frame. Dick Allen, well, he's been struggling this game. The last 3 balls that have hit the pocket have let the 10-pin all 3 times for
Shot 2.
For Dick. And
what does that tell you?
The ball's not going through the pins the right way. And so it's the shape and the motion of the bowling ball as it goes through the pins. And that was a ringing 10. Remember the 2 before that were the soft 10s where the 6 just kind of laid there? Well, his bowling ball says Venom on the side. And right now he feels like he's probably slowly being poisoned.
His first televised major appearance. Got a win in match number 2. He has dug himself a deep late hole here. Belmo trying to add to that 20-pin lead. What is up with the 10-pin here?
Power and speed right there. Tour average is probably just a little over 400. 10-pin's been stubborn for both players in this match. Jason's at 207 right now, and Dick Allen's max score is 198. A mark here in good count, and Jason Belmonte will bowl Anthony Simonsen for the title.
The 5-time Player of the Year, trying to close out Allen.
Yeah, he does. What a beautiful shot. You know, we didn't really talk about that quote from him. When talking about how he was mentally unsure of what was going on and how it was affecting him and how it's been affecting him the last few weeks. And I have a theory as to why he's saying that or thinking that.
More on that in a minute. Belmo moves on. He will chase major title number 12, but he's got to get through the 1 seed, Anthony Simonsen first. It's been a long time coming, winning on television for Belmo. 0 for 7 streak is over, but up next, the young gun, Simonsen. And history on the menu here in Lincoln. Jason Belmonte, can he win his record 12th major? Anthony Simonsen, can he become the youngest to win 3 majors? For the intro of number 1 seed, Anthony Simonsen, we go down to the lane.
The number 1 seed is the youngest to win 2 PBA majors at the age of 22. From Little Elm, Texas, Anthony Simonsen.
Anthony Simonsen, the youngest to win a major, the youngest to win 2 majors. And with a win today, well, you get the picture. He denied Belmo a major last year. Will he deny him a U.S. Open?
Just 23 years old. Right, digest that again. He's just 23 years old. Already has 7 tour titles and 2 majors. The Masters and the Players. He is your number 1 seed. That hasn't been a great spot this season. Number 1 seeds 1 and 4 in title matches here in 2020.
Look how deep he is on that left lane. Wow, 28.5 at the arrows, all the way out to 6. You want to talk about covering some real estate. Simonsen's doing that.
Look where that red line starts, Randy. Out of bounds almost.
Yeah.
So there's the numbers between these two. You can make a case, a very easy case. The guy on the right is the greatest ever. Anthony Simonsen is working really early on a Hall of Fame career. Belmo matches his strike. Remember, in the pregame, we talked about the issues on television for Jason Belmonte dating back to last year, 0-7. This season, 0-3. And he admitted this week, Randy, that it's been playing in his house a little bit.
Yeah, you read this quote from him, and I think the first thing that I think of when I read this is that he was just overthinking it, or has been, and really just putting too much into it. And it takes away from the instinctive part of his game.
You know, the other interesting thing about this match is that Belmonte constantly talks about when he leaves this game that Simonsen is going to carry his torch.
Double wood.
Jason.
Well, remember the numbers. Simonsen about 6 more boards to the left at the laydown than Jason Belmonte, but Jason throwing it a bit faster, so that would make sense. And this ball coming in light, leaving the 2-8. Simonsen, the higher seed, gets to choose what lane he finishes the match on. So he chose to finish this match on the right lane, which means Jason will finish first on the left.
Strike spare to start for Belmonte.
How are you going to throw the rest of the game?
Simonsen beat Belmonte head-to-head twice this week. Really ran away from the field. You see his average, 225.02. That was tops. Led the field by 362 pins.
Led the last 4 rounds. Just absolutely ran him over. With a spare, we're all even through 2.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is what we're talking about. Look at the angle that he's playing. I mean, that's really carving the lane. And I can tell you, in all the years that I bowled, I could never open up a lane like this. Because if I tried to, I'd get 3.
I think you would get more than 3, Randy.
I'm telling you, I'd pick 3 off of the right if I ever tried to open the lane up like that. If it stayed on the lane. 2 different bowling balls for Simonsen. But very similar lines that he's playing on in these 2 lanes.
Left.
Yeah, it's a big left right here. You can see just how far to the inside that shot was. 4.5 boards to the left at the break point down lane, and there's no way that ball's going to hit the pocket on the right side anyway.
Strike spare. Simonsen sits. Belmonte pops up.
Randy Thompson on the right, Karen Jost on the left. Had the pleasure of doing Fox and Friends with Randy Thompson over this past summer. It was great stuff. We did a little go bowling there in New York City.
They allowed you on Fox and Friends?
Yeah, they did.
They did not run a background check.
I got a story about that.
He slipped from the left lane.
That was a really bad collision. So I go to do Fox and Friends, and they asked me, well, you know, the #1 player in the world, and I said, well, it's this guy Jason Belmonte from Australia, and he throws it with 2 hands. And they're like, 2 hands? Can you do it? And I said, yeah, but not very well. So I threw it with 2 hands, a 12-pound ball. It goes runaway Brooklyn for a strike, and they thought that was the greatest thing that ever.
There you go.
Yeah.
Brooklyns are fun. I know you guys hate them.
No, they stink.
They're fun to watch once in a while. You need a little luck.
Yeah, they don't know the difference between Brooklyn
100%.
right? As long as they all go down, you're good.
Right. 10 down is good, man.
Yeah.
Don't overthink it.
No. Now, let's see if he overthinks this next shot. Remember the last time up on the left lane? He went light and left the 2-8.
Strike, spare, strike for Belmonte.
What do you think about that shot, partner?
Pretty good messengers in play as well.
And you see his demeanor afterwards, right? You see how confident and focused he is. It just, man, I just get a sense sometimes in looking at players and how they react to certain situations, kind of what they're thinking.
And you know what? Maybe all the attention this week that was put on his recent woes in television gave him a chance to not only internalize it, but also express it, right? Push it away, and move on from it.
Great point.
Little loft from Anthony here.
Standing in front of the ball return, then modifying his approach and going to 3 steps. And if you don't think that takes a little talent, think again. And that ball enters perfectly. UFO on the right lane, and he's throwing an idle on the left lane. And right now, Simonsen can cut this to just 1 with a strike here in the 5th. He hasn't missed the pocket except for the Brooklyn last time up on this lane. We have a match. It's a 1-pin match.
Remember how frustrating last week was for him. In Columbus, the defending champ had a poor week, had some, I'm gonna do quote marks, anger issues.
Yeah, I mean, he literally uprooted a telescore unit.
That feels like an anger issue.
At Wayne Webb's place.
Yep.
Now, Wayne Webb, being an ex-tour player and Hall of Famer, can relate. But
it was fantastic. He said, this is a new week. Don't dwell on the past, whether you're struggling or you're having success.
Got that light hit working on that right lane. And let's not forget that a couple of weeks ago, Simonsen finished 3rd at the Tournament of Champions. We take a look at the infamous footwork of Jason Belmonte, how he starts to go left right there. That big left step opens his body up, opens his hips up, gets everything pointed to the right so he can project the bowling ball in that direction. Look, nothing, no react.
Unfazed. Not much phases Simonsen either, though.
No.
4 in a row, though, for Belmo, and he's been just this far off from being perfect so far.
And you got to know that Belmonte knows that not a whole lot phases this kid, right?
Right.
And vice versa.
So Simonsen up, looking for 3 in a row. Oh, boy, he almost started that in the other lane.
It's so hard to throw the ball fast enough when you have to modify your approach like that, because he doesn't have the full momentum of 5 full steps that he normally takes in his regular approach. And sometimes a player that does that has to stand in front of the bar return, will overthrow a shot. That's what happened there.
Covers it up, so he remains clean. 3 strikes, 3 spares, but he's down 24 as we begin the 7th. Trying to become the youngest to win 3 majors. He was the #1 seed at the 2016 USBC Masters, won it. The #1 seed here at the US Open.
So Simonsen trying to make more history, but so is his opponent, Belmonte. Remember, the only...
It looked like Simonsen just gave a cutoff sign. We're done with one of these balls, and I see his team kind of reassembling. So he sits. Belmonte looking for 5 in a row. Baby.
Yeah, right through the nose, leaving the 310. Boy, I'll tell you what, that was a big opportunity missed by Belmonte. Good Good cover. I'm going to try to get some intel from Simonsen's tour rep, Tim Mack.
That's it. Better shot.
After...
Take another re-rack.
Let's do it now. Tim Mack, can you hear Randy? Tim Mack, you got me? What changes are going to be made by Anthony Simonsen?
He turned over and looked it over. Said that he had a good look with the same ball that he's using on the left lane, which is the idle. He's going to switch to that ball on the right lane on this next shot.
Thanks, Tim.
Yep.
Belmonte staying with the same ball on both lanes. Looks like Simonsen's going to make that move. 22-pin lead for Belmonte now. This is the lane he'll finish on.
Left to 10.
What a beautiful shot. It looks like it mirrored the last shot that he threw on that left lane that struck. Wow. If he spares here, 247 would be his max. Simonsen max score 246.
Sold out crowd here today in Lincoln. First major in Nebraska since 1960. These guys will pack it up and head east to Indianapolis. 2 events next week in Indy. Doubles and the Indianapolis Open.
Yep. Talk about a grind and how many games the bowlers have bowled the last 3 weeks. You know, Belmonte making all 3 of the telecast. Total games for the week, right at 3,500.
Insane.
Okay, shot. Good ball change there. Now it's 11. Belmonte, 142 games, not counting today, the last 3 weeks, and that doesn't count practice. There were several players that were kind of in that same boat. Bill O'Neill, Chris Prather, EJ Johnson. I'm missing one other name. The players that have made it to match play last 3 weeks in a row.
What do you got, kid?
Same ringing 10 that Belmo left on that lane. How good was that?
Stupid 10-pin showing up again this season.
What event was that?
We had a couple last season.
We had a big issue with that.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Rob,
I've forgotten how much I hate the 10-pin. Now I'm being reminded.
I mean, I got to be honest. That's so much angle that's being created, and the players play the lanes the way the lanes tell them to play them. But with that much angle, you can't expect your carry to be good. I wouldn't think. But they have to play him this way. And they have to play him this way because there's no oil in the middle of the lane. So they have to throw the ball sideways. Belmonte now can step up in the 9th and 10th and shut out Anthony Simonsen. Simonsen now max score is 225. If Belmonte strikes in the 9th and the 10th frame and gets good count, he will win the U.S. Open for the first time.
My goodness. So it's going to be 3 straight spares for Jason Belmonte. Real quick, coming up next on Fox, but over on FS1 as we speak, it's NASCAR race day from Las Vegas, and then the Pennzoil 400. But we're going to close out the U.S. Open here in Lincoln, Nebraska first. Punch that 9-pin right in the face, down into the pit. 11 pins separate these two as we enter the 10th.
Strike spare in the 10th frame, and Belmonte wins
number 12.
Yep, the United States Open for the very first time, and joins Mike Albee as the only 2 players to ever win all 5 majors. Strike on this ball where he could possibly lose.
Needs just a mark, and he'll be your 2020 U.S. Open champ.
It was just a couple of hours ago how we were talking about how he was kind of like this Tiger Woods-ish on the PBA Tour. Everybody wrote Tiger off, and what did Tiger do last year? He won the Masters. Jason Belmonte, a mark away from victory.
This is the one major that's eluded him. Trying to become just the second ever to win the Super Slam, joining the great Mike Albee. A strike, and he is your U.S. Open champion.
Now then.
Covers this.
3, 6, 9, 10, one of the toughest non-splits or washouts to convert on tour. If he makes it, he wins. If he gets 9, we have the possibility of a tie. If he gets less than 9, he could lose.
What are you going to do, Jace?
The idea is to throw a hook ball into that 3-6 so that you can cover that back pin, the 9 pin, but we've seen players throw it straight right at the 3-9. This is going to be very interesting. Spare and he wins.
For the title! You got it! SummerSlam! Super Slam! Complete. Major number 12, his reaction. The issues on television, we've forgotten about them already. 2 wins today, including in the title match over your 1 seed. Kimberly standing by with your winner.
Very excited, Jason Belmonte. That was amazing to watch. You just won the Super Slam. You got the U.S. Open. Describe this moment.
My mouth is really dry. That is not the spare that I was thinking I wanted to shoot to win. I don't know what to say, Kimberly. I bowled a really good couple of games. 1 or 2 I'd have back. That 11th one I'd have back. But in the end, I have the trophy. I have the Super Slam. I have the Triple Crown. I can retire. A really happy guy.
Congratulations, Jason Belmonte.
Eagles fly with Eagles. Jason Belmonte is an alpha Eagle. He is your U.S. Open champion. Coming up next, NASCAR race day from Las Vegas and the Pennzoil 400. We're on the road to Indianapolis, where our PBA coverage continues next Saturday night on FS1. Jason Belmonte wins his 12th major and becomes just the second ever to claim the Super Slam. Enjoy NASCAR from Vegas next.